Welcome to the show. My name is Charlton with Big C. This is Charlton and Big C Sports coming to you worldwide on the Big C Sports Network, on the #1 network in the United States of America. And Big C Sports has been voted the #1 sports show in the universe, according to Big C and them good old boys down south. I want to say bienvenidos to all of our listeners in Latin America, also across the pond in London, England, as well as Paris, France, and of course you good old boys from Africa. You know we love the Big C tribe, but there's no one we love more than the boys in Canada, outside you good old boys down south, in the land of the free, in the home of the brave, Big C. How's it going for you good old boys on January 26, 2018, Big C?
Well, I think it's a little warmer down here in the South, Charlton, than it is up there for them Canucks up in Canada.
Yeah.
They're still dealing with all that ice and cold and everything. You know, we get a day down here in the 50s, so we're happy in the league, you know, walking around in my short pants, you know, trying to show off my quads and all of that, and, you know, keep everybody all excited.
Yeah, we love that. It's funny how sometimes when you watch games and you watch events up in Canada, or even some parts of the Midwest here in the United States, it could be 10 degrees and you have guys taking their shirts off, Big C. I guess they just have to be born for that type of weather. But we know there's a lot going on in the world of sports, from the golf. Golf hasn't been relevant in so long. Tiger Woods making the cut today down in San Diego, so that's always good. We have a Pro Bowl coming up over the weekend. I don't think anybody really cares much about the Pro Bowl right now, Big C. And then we have just more information coming out of, you know, Michigan State and who knew what and when, etc. And so hopefully with golf they can shine some positive thoughts on this weekend, since we don't have a real good football game coming up. That's next week. But Tiger Woods and Mickelson making the cut down in San Diego. Big C, I just want to get your thoughts real quick. We've talked about this thing with Nasser and how you were saying he's a scapegoat, and I think there's more people and that are a part of the Michigan State family that know a lot more than they put on. And I just want to get your thoughts on that. You're way down south, but this stuff happening up in the great Midwest is kind of chilling, Big C. Your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, I don't even know if it's chilling, but, you know, one of the things I want to, you know, put into context on this, you know, we saw Harvey Weinstein.
Yeah.
And this is, you know, I want to give a thanks to Harvey Weinstein in this scenario, Charlton. I honestly do.
How's that?
Because he has opened America's eyes to really the heinous problem that's been going on with sexual misconduct of males in the United States.
Yeah.
You know, we needed a high-profile individual. Yes, the president spoke about it.
Yeah.
Prior to becoming president.
Yeah.
But Harvey Weinstein, a person of power who could shackle people, who could destroy careers, who silenced people for his pleasures, you know, really opened up Pandora's box more than what people realize.
Yeah.
Because without Harvey Weinstein ever being exposed, Charlton, none of these other scenarios would have come out. I mean, we've had incidents in the past of universities with sexual misconduct and allegations of wrongdoing.
Yeah.
But when we talked about NASA, and I spoke about him being an scapegoat, because it couldn't just be him.
Right.
You know, because this had gone on for so long. And I always said, the minute more than one person knows something, you no longer have a secret.
Yep.
You know, that's how the mafia kept secrets for years. The minute more than one person knew about it, the other person disappeared.
Well, Big C, I hope you're not giving too much inside information for some of the friends you've known over the years, Big C.
But, you know, I want to go back to Penn State, and I want to go back to Baylor, Charlton.
Yeah.
And mainly Baylor. What Michigan State is reminding me of right now is that same atmosphere that they had at the University of Baylor down in Waco, Texas.
Yeah.
A couple of years ago, when they got rid of Art Briles as the head coach, they said for lack of institutional control and allowing these incidents to occur going unchecked.
Yeah.
Now, we have documentation that in the media now that's going to be released today, tomorrow, and throughout the weekend, the first of next week.
Yeah.
But Michigan State was aware of these incidents with the two head coaches in their major programs in basketball and football since 2011, since when Mike D'Antonio came on campus and Tom Izzo showed up.
Yeah.
But they were aware of sexual incidents that were occurring during that time of their inaugural seasons, Charlton, at Michigan State.
Yeah.
And yet, Michigan State had set up an internal department within the athletic department to handle any sexual allegations, misconduct allegations, that they would police it from within.
Yeah.
And, you know, after they police it, then they would decide to redact and release whatever they wanted to do to the local DA, Charlton.
Yeah.
But, you know, when we had the president of the university resigning, yesterday.
Yeah.
And still getting paid her $750 million salary and allowed to come back after a year
Yeah.
in a teaching position and still make $750,000
Yeah.
for allowing this atmosphere to continue.
Yeah.
The biggest questions right now that are posed, Charlton, and Michigan State is playing a basketball game tonight at home in the Breslin Center.
Yeah.
Tom Izzo is going to be in a press conference after it, and I know he's going to be berated by all the media.
Yeah.
When did you know and when did you know? Now, Tom Izzo was on the record saying that the first that he had ever heard of any sexual misconduct at Michigan State was last year with a couple of players that had been arrested, okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's on the record that he knew back in 2011 of 3 players that had raped a female student.
Yeah.
And she had filed a report. And ironically, the person that was working in the DA office now, Charlton, at that time, is now working in the Title IX office for Michigan State.
Wow.
So they brought that person in-house and hired them, the one that was, quashing the investigations in the DA's department.
Yeah.
And telling these young ladies that, well, if you can't withstand the questioning from me, how could you withstand it from a jury? The problem that I've always had, Charlton, with these sexual allegations and this abuse of young women and even older women, Charlton,
Yeah.
is that you tell the women that they're uncredible.
Yeah.
That these 3 or 4 athletes at one time that are committing sexual assault on them are more credible than this woman that they've abused
Yeah.
mentally and physically.
Yeah.
And saying that she's not worth it. It's like one of the girls in the NASA sentence who is now an attorney, and she spoke so eloquently.
Yeah.
And she asked the judge at NASA, what is the value of a young girl? And being the dad of a daughter, it's invaluable, Charlton. There's nothing I cherish more than that.
Yeah.
Okay? Than that little girl in my life.
Yeah.
I mean, anything, I would give up anything. I give up myself for her. That's the value of her.
Yeah.
Because she is worth more in life than what I am, in my eyes.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
when I hear these coaches and saying, well, I didn't know, and we're not aware, you recruited these monsters, okay?
Oh, yeah.
You brought them in. When you sit up, and every kid has heard this, and I heard it as a recruit.
Yeah.
That I'm going to take care, he's going to become my son now.
Yeah.
So you're going to tell me you don't know what your sons are doing, okay?
Yeah.
You have enough staff and everything else. So if Antonio and Izzo come out and make one statement saying, we're not aware, we're still searching through the facts that you've known since 2011, they should be fired on the spot. The first time that they don't admit to knowledge, they should be fired on the spot. Now think about this, Charlton.
Yeah.
They are state employees, okay?
Yeah.
They're employees of the federal government because Michigan State is a state institution,
Yeah.
not a private institution. So they are government employees.
Wow.
And so to sit there and say that we weren't aware, and you have police reports, you have campus reports, you have athletic department reports
Yeah.
of your players. Not only that, one of his assistant coaches who was coaching in the D League, the NBA G League,
Yeah.
where the clip was up until tonight, and they suspended him, had been on 2 sexual assault
Wow.
cases while he was a player and an assistant coach at Michigan State. And they kept him on the payroll, Charlton.
Yeah.
And in one of the incidents, he pleaded to a lesser charge of some type of public whatever.
Yeah.
But it had nothing to do with assault where he punched the young girl in the face, the other one where he was in an alleged gang rape scenario. None of that came about, Charlton. And so when we sit here, and I said that Nassar, for the past couple of nights was an scapegoat, he was.
Yeah.
Michigan State fought ESPN since 2014 to get documents released on this. They sued them all the way up to the Michigan Supreme Court.
Yeah.
And they still have not been able to get all the documents. They have appealed it twice.
Yeah.
And they're willing to pay millions and millions of dollars to cover up what they've been doing, Charlton.
That's incredible, and no more of it's going to come out. I do want to say this segment is sponsored by your Northern California Cadillac dealers, home of the all-new Cadillac Escalade, the standard of the world. And when you go by and test drive yours, tell them Charlton and Big C sent you. You can drive a car or you can drive a Cadillac. Big C, I know sometimes we don't want to hear bad news about people who've been put on a pedestal. And I don't know what happened with Izzo and D'Antonio, but I do know they're very highly paid employees for the state of Michigan at their universities. And we brought that issue up, that what happened down in Baylor, and Browse got in trouble. He's no longer there. We know what happened at Penn State with Paterno and Sandusky, the late Joe Paterno and Sandusky. And at the same time, this is a question every parent has to ask. How do we keep our kids safe? It doesn't matter how much shine we put on that university. Doesn't even matter how much they stand up and say how they're going to protect our kids. We know as student athletes, they take advantage of them because there's no coach in the NCAA that's advocating for children or for their student athletes to get paid. They'll advocate that they get more money, Big C, but they don't advocate that they get paid. And on top of that, what you just brought up, why will it, what's it going to take for there to be more of a crackdown on these people who knew? Because that's being complicit in part of the crime, Big C. Your thoughts?
Well, Charleston, they know because they're protecting their money, they're protecting their reputation.
Oh, yeah.
Now, let's compare Michigan State to Louisville, okay?
Yeah.
Louisville had sanctions because of hiring people, okay?
Yeah.
Not forcing young students into illegal sex acts, okay?
Right.
Being forcibly to participate sexually.
Right.
Louisville paid money, all right?
Yep.
They hired professionals. Not condoning this, Charlton, but look at what happened to Rick Pitino and the coaching staff at Louisville.
Yeah.
They're hiring strippers and prostitutes, Charlton.
Yeah.
Look at that. Now, Michigan State football and basketball coach allegedly hid these incidents and had knowledge since 2011 of these incidents occurring because there are police reports from them. And the athletic department handled all these things internally, so the athletic department knew.
Yeah.
And the excuse can't be, well, I wasn't aware and I didn't know.
Yeah.
You're part of the athletic department.
Yeah.
You're friends with the athletic director. You talk. You go in and discuss situations, Charlton. People on campus knew. And when your player's being brought in for questioning,
yeah.
and you're supposed to be his away from home dad, and
yeah.
you don't know
yeah.
if he's being questioned by campus police, even local police, and,
yeah.
and you're totally unaware, you're at home, sleep, on your California King mattress and not knowing what's
yeah.
going on with your players. Enough lying is enough.
Yeah.
We've heard Jeff Sessions. We've heard Donald Trump.
Yeah.
I don't recall.
Yeah.
I've heard enough of this.
Yeah.
But what you've advocated ever since we've been on air, no violence against women in America.
No.
But yet these institutions have condoned it, Charlton.
Yeah.
Violence against these female students, and it's gone on and on. It's even happened on the West Coast. I know it's incident several years ago at the University of Pacific.
Yeah.
With basketball players. And this young girl committed suicide, Charlton.
Yeah.
Behind this. Because no one wanted to believe her. And it happened to her twice at the same university. And she reported both of them.
Yeah.
And no one said, well, these are basketball players. You're talking about harming someone's future.
Yep.
It cost this young lady her life, Charlton.
Yep.
Because she could no longer deal with the pain, the embarrassment, and shame of what she had to be put through because she wasn't credible because she was a female. And these basketball players are helping the university create revenue, Charlton.
Well, I think,
and
yeah.
they valued that revenue over this young lady's life, and that's why in Nassau's sentence, and the young lady spoke up and said, what is the value of a young girl?
Yeah, that's true. And I think about that gentleman, that boy down at Stanford that took advantage of a woman, and I guess he had raped her. She was a drunk, and I think the judge gave him like 6 months or 3 months. So that came...
He got 3 months in jail, Charlton. 3 months. He was a rapist, and he was convicted. And the judge said, we don't want to destroy this young man's life.
Yeah.
Regardless of what he did to the young lady,
yep.
she's not worth destroying his life over.
Yeah.
Even though he committed this without her consent, Charlton.
Yeah.
He committed a violent, heinous crime against another human being, but this human being was a female.
Yeah.
And the judge stated that this female's life and her mental and physical well-being wasn't worth what this young man's was, even though he was the culprit. He was the assailant. He was the rapist.
Yeah.
And the judge said that he had more value than the young lady.
And that's the thing that we gotta find out even when the courts don't value women. And I know a lot of times people want to blame the woman and say, well, maybe she shouldn't have had something to drink, or maybe she should have known her environment. No one deserves to be accosted and assaulted, no matter whether you're male or female. But when the judge, at least there was a petition by some of the smarter people down in the Stanford area, New Palo Alto, that signed a petition to get the judge removed. And that took some effort, but people, they made an effort to do the right thing. But going back to Michigan State, and I want to bring up this issue, it's two different things, but one was considered more egregious than the other. I recall when UCLA went over to China, and they had a couple of players that were involved in shoplifting, and I can't forget how much the media put so much emphasis on how bad these guys were. They need to be expelled from school, etc. Throw the book at them. They should never be able to step a foot.
What they African American, Charlton?
They were African American men.
Three African American basketball players.
Yeah.
That did some shoplifting.
Yeah.
Shoplifting. And even it's not legal. It's bad. It's a
bad.
crime
Yeah.
to be committed on foreign soil.
Yeah. But at the same time that they had been put all over the media and kind of chastised and everything you can call to shame them, we have the gentleman at Michigan State, whether it's Izzo or D'Antonio, they know some things that were going on. Not once during this UCLA shenanigan have you seen Izzo or D'Antonio put in front of the media and even questioned, but Michigan State's known about this for a couple of years, a lot longer than when the UCLA kids and their shoplifting. So when we have, I won't say media knew about it because the schools were high-tech, but I think
UCLA knew, no. ESPN has known about this, Charles.
With Michigan State?
When they started the investigation of the Michigan State since 2014.
Oh, really?
They pursued this all the way up to the Michigan Supreme Court.
Okay.
Because Michigan State has fought them on this, so it hasn't been blind.
Wow.
And they knew about NASA prior to that.
Yeah.
So NASA came about publicly in 2014 when he was fired. But when NASA was fired, it opened up the door on all these other incidents because when you're seeking records, and ESPN sought these out,
yeah,
the records on NASA, and by seeking out the NASA records in the athletic department, because he worked through the athletic department, Charlton, dealing with the gymnasts at UCLA.
Yeah. That's
so
to tell you.
It exposed Izzo and D'Antonio's incidents that were occurring, Charlton.
Yeah.
But Michigan State fought these things legally. They fought it in every step of the way through every court level in the state of Michigan.
Yeah.
All the way to the Supreme Court. They lost 2 Supreme Court rulings, Charlton.
Wow.
So they even had to pay ESPN back their attorney fees. And they're still fighting that. And there's still documents that they're trying to get from Michigan State that they're hiding. And so this is why I said, and I didn't know about that when I said that NASA was an scapegoat.
Yeah.
But I had a gut feeling that he was, Charlton.
Yeah.
And what's ironic, after you and I had beat this thing up for a week, now all of a sudden ESPN comes out with it. And not saying that they did it because they've been doing this research for 3 years, Charlton, on Michigan State. And Michigan State had been fighting them through the legal system, so I guess there was a restraining order about discussing it on air because of the court proceedings that were going on.
Wow.
But once they had won all the court proceedings, it was open season, and so you'll hear about it for the next week on ESPN and the other sports outlets, Charlton. But you and I talked about it freely prior to that being released because we understand the heinousness that these men commit against these young women, and doing it in multiples. You're getting 3 and 4 and 5 guys attacking these young girls, whether they've been drinking, whether they were sitting in the dorm room playing cards with them, or doing whatever. You should be able to sit with fellow students without being in fear.
Yeah.
You know, when I was in college, we had co-ed dorms, you know, even though it was split level, but we had a common sitting area where the television was, and everybody was in the same room, Charlton.
Yeah.
But, you know, some students had TVs in their own room. But you could not walk around as a female student. You shouldn't be in fear that you can't walk your campus.
Exactly.
That you can't visit another co-student's room.
Yeah.
And feel fear of your life and your personal being, Charlton.
I agree. And that's why the people who do it, not only should they be, you got to investigate. I know there's due process. You have a right to prove your innocence. But they should at least make it be known. Because when the next parent sits down with anyone, let's say Michigan State, because they're the ones involved in this investigation. When you sit down with Michigan State, you need to know what's going on that campus. You need to know what kind of crimes have been reported on that campus. You need to know how many assaults have happened on that campus, how many arrests have happened on that campus, because you can't just be enamored with a student athlete. That's part of keeping it safe. But I want to ask you this question, Big C. At what point in time, and I know people say listen to your lawyer, even Donald Trump, he's going to listen to his lawyers with all his sexual assault allegations. And I don't want to say that it's just part of the male culture, because I don't believe it is. I think it's part of predatory behavior that we got to stop. And you stop it by incarcerating people. That's how you stop it. And for every man that has a daughter, or we all have mothers, but if you have any woman in your life that you want to keep safe when she's out of your presence, what do you say to the predator when your daughter's going to be in his presence, but you don't know because he's hiding behind some shiny university, Big C? The universities need to make this known, Big C. Your thoughts?
Well, Charleston, what's the MO of a predator? What's the MO of a rapist? What's the criteria? What is the physicality? What is the look? I mean, there's no script as far as who this individual is. You look at Harvey Weinstein. You know, you look at him and you're like this old fat guy.
Yeah.
You know, that's what no one's attracted to him.
Nope.
You know, it even came out about Steve Wynn today. Steve Wynn paid off a masseuse in the hotel $7.5 million a couple of years ago.
Wait, Steve Wynn with the hotels down in Vegas?
In Vegas, you know, and he's had over 150 sexual allegations against him. Very rich Republican. So, I mean, it's everywhere. And it's men of power that we see coming out. And college athletes, Charlton, are men of power. Think about it. Because they have financial windfalls for their institution. They recruit these kids because these kids are free money for the universities.
Yeah.
They play well, the more money the universities make. So they're willing to sacrifice female students because these athletes are making them money, Charlton. That's how they look at it. That's how they win. So when we talk about the value of these females on the institutions level, they don't make the institution more money than what these athletes do. So they're here to protect their investments. It's like a stockbroker, Charlton. That's what these universities are.
Yeah.
They're protecting their investment. I invested X amount of dollars in this kid.
Yeah.
I invested for 4 years. I've invested $40,000 in this kid, $50,000 in this kid.
Yeah.
But in return, it's going to come back tenfold.
Oh, yeah.
I invested $50,000 in him. He's going to make the university $500,000 because of what he's going to do basketball-wise through our sponsorship, tournament play, and all of this. This is how much the return is going to be to the university for investing in him. And this could be for 4 years that this can occur. So that's how the university looks at it. There's a return, an ROI.
Yeah.
The return on investment. That's how they look at the athletes, Charlton. They don't look at the female students in that same light.
You know what?
This is just the tip of the iceberg, Charlton.
Yeah, and I think I kind of don't want to defend anybody nowadays because you never know. But I look at the naval academies and how they have this discipline behavior and belief that goes into whatever. And I know in the military, there's even assault in the military. So maybe it's just a human thing, but it doesn't mean that people can get away with it just because you have power over somebody. And again, no matter who we point the finger at, no matter who we say should be, at least culpable in whatever happens, we have a president of the United States of America that will not make a speech on no sexual assault toward women. He won't do it, hasn't done it, he'll never talk about it, and that to me is the shame because he's so dirty himself, he can't even come up and say to any man that voted for him or any woman, what has he ever done to keep women safe? Has he done anything at all to keep any woman safe, no matter what color, what religion? Has he done anything? So until the president of the United States speaks about it, and no matter who that president is, why would any university step out and do something the president of the United States won't even do, Big C? Your thoughts?
We're talking, he has an opportunity on Tuesday night. He has a State of the Union address, okay?
Yeah.
The second one.
Yeah.
And so he has an opportunity to speak up against the sexual misconduct of males towards women in America, and mainly in our educational institutions.
Yeah.
But, when I look at the evolution, and you think about it, when I spoke about Steve Wynn,
yeah,
he's the finance officer for the Republican National Committee.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
He's been put in charge of that. He's in charge of raising money for the Republicans. So, I mean, this is the Fox Garden hen house scenario.
Yeah.
But I want to know what's going to happen with D'Antonio and Israel. It's not a secret. And they can't say we're not aware because they made a statement to our athletic department where we have to do a better job of recognizing.
Yeah.
So when a woman comes up and says, I've been sexually assaulted by 4 of your athletes, 4 of your football players, 3 of your basketball players, and you say you have to do a better job of recognizing, I'm trying to figure out what do you have to recognize. That her report was inaccurate and she waited till the next day to come in and report this because this happened between 1 and 3 o'clock in the morning and she didn't come into your office because it was closed, so she waited till the next morning to go file a police report or come into your office and file a report because she didn't do it within 20 minutes.
Yeah.
It took her 8 hours to file a report after this incident had occurred.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find out what's the culpability because I keep going back to Baylor.
Yeah.
Where Art Briles was fired. And Art Briles can't get a job as a head coach any longer in the NCAA.
No.
That same scenario has to happen with Tom Izzo and Mike D'Antonio.
Yeah.
You have to be banned from the NCAA for life as a coach.
Yeah.
You do, because until you start doing this to these coaches, they won't care about what these athletes do. Let's go to Louisville. Rick Pitino.
Yeah.
He's banned from coaching because they hired prostitutes, Charlton.
Yeah.
And they paid some players some money, okay?
Yeah.
That's the biggest football was paying the players. They were okay with him hiring the prostitutes.
Yeah.
But paying players some money was where he crossed the line, okay?
Isn't that something?
He crossed the line on that.
That's a great point. You look at how it's been going on for years, but they won't pay players, but they'll pay prostitution. I just got to make it to the leader, the chief, commander-in-chief. He has the State of the Union coming up on Tuesday. He stood and took the time on national media to call African-American athletes, NFL players, SOBs, sons of whatever that means, right? For taking a kneel for social justice reform. But that same guy that called black athletes SOBs for trying to stand up for the young black people in criminal justice reform, he said nothing about predators and men that sexually assault women. He said
he was backing. Yes, he did. He said something about
what did he say?
He was backing Roy Moore in the Senate race in Alabama, a known sexual predator. He was backing, so he did speak against sexual predators. He praised sexual predators, so don't think that the president has been silent in this.
Yeah.
He praised the sexual predator and said we need him in the Senate. That's what we need. We need him in the Congress or wherever it was. He wanted that type of individual representing the Republican Party.
Wow.
He stated that. He was all about having a predator as one of the top lawmakers in the country.
Well, you know what? That's a shame in itself because you're right, and I didn't even think about that. He's endorsed the guy who's accused of the same thing. So how do you, if you're those men who meet that profile that get away with it, and a lot of them, they meet the profile that Trump has called his base, or they support his party when he has those type of vitriolic words about women and also people of color. But again, anyone can atone. Maybe he'll say no tolerance for sexual assault.
Well, no, Charles, no, he can't, because think about this.
You don't think so?
Every woman that has made a sexual misconduct allegation against Trump, he said what? I'm going to sue you because I got more money than you and I can outlast you in court. I will sue you.
Yeah.
This is his statement. This is the president's statement. I will sue any woman accusing me of sexual misconduct, or I will pay the porn star $130,000.
Wow.
Because she probably had tape. Okay?
Wow.
He probably had that session filmed. So the $130,000 was to buy back the tape.
I tell you what, that I did hear that there might be some video running around, but he'll deny that it was him because we know he has a history of denying that kind of stuff. But I just think that we're on to, in order to help people, you got to fix a cavity. Sometimes you got to dig a little bit deeper, and it's going to be a little bit painful at times. But if the outcome of this...
No, you say a little bit painful.
Yeah.
Don't you think it's painful for these females that are sexually assaulted?
Of course.
And have to deal with the physical...
Very much. Yeah.
Punishment that they have to go through during this sexual assault, and then the mental anguish the rest of their lives.
Yeah, I agree.
Because think about it, right off the bat, no one believed them.
Yeah.
They said, no, she's lying. These four guys wouldn't walk in there and force her to have sex and force her to do all these things she said without her being in agreement to each other. This is what they're saying. This is the most troubling point of Americana.
Yeah.
Is that the devalue of women. I mean, look at the NFL. When the Mara family devalued Josh Brown's wife, ex-wife. It don't make any difference how many police reports we have against you from her.
Yeah, that's true.
We're still going to pay you millions of dollars to kick the football for us because you're one of the top 32 guys in the world to do your job. So we need to have you in our organization. You're that type of quality guy that we want to have around. A wife beater.
Yeah.
You're the kind of guy that we need, but we're not going to tell anybody. So, I mean, this is not just college, Charlton. This is the pro football mentality of the guys who are making money off of somebody to squash whatever's going on. And let's bring the world of entertainment back into this again.
Yeah.
Bill Cosby, okay?
Yeah.
Went under trial last year in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Same general area is part of that Big Ten country, okay?
Yep.
Pennsylvania. For an incident that occurred over a decade ago. Now, we know all of these incidents that they're talking about in Michigan State that are under investigation happened since 2011. That's not over a decade ago. There is no statute of limitation on all of these incidents, Charlton. But think about it. The DA in Lansing, Michigan, has all these reports and failed to file charges. Now, look at the different levels. Bill Cosby, an elderly man, accused, and probably could be rightfully so. I don't know. But he was accused and had a hung jury on incidents that occurred 10, 20, 30 years ago, Charlton. Okay? We're talking about incidents at Michigan State that they have police reports on, Charlton. Just like with Bill Cosby, they had police reports, and some of these police reports didn't come out until recently. Okay? But these incidents at Michigan State all have police reports since the year 2011. And recently is last year, Charlton. As recently as last year. And no one is being prosecuted for it, Charlton. So there's a massive cover-up at the university, in the DA's department, in Lansing, Michigan, Charlton. This is the culture that America has been in. And people are saying, well, can't be a rush to judgment about firing people. And which I believe that everybody's due cause.
Due process, yes.
But you have to be put on administrative leave without pay, okay? You can't be paid while this is going on. I'm not saying just walk in and fire like you did Matt Lauer and everybody else in Hollywood. I'm saying you put on administrative leave based on an investigation. Now, if there's documentation and investigation that prove that you're culpable, then there's charges that need to be filed against you. Not just fired, but you need to be charged criminally, Charlton. That's the basis of it.
I think going forward, that would make a lot more women feel safe that they actually are honored in the criminal justice system. I do want to say that sports is a billion-dollar industry, and boys and girls sports is the foundation to this billion-dollar industry. For every athletic and sporting event, you need athletic and event insurance. We work with Ben and Mark. They've been around half a century. They work with Big C Sports, whether you're a pro team, a collegiate team, a college team, even your high school mom and pop and soccer teams. When you reach out to them, let them know Big C sent you at 800-772-8624. That's 800-772-8624. So I hope that, again, it's painful at times to turn in that information, but if you know someone committing crimes, you got to keep the school safe.
Don't say it's painful to turn in information. Please don't. Because that's what has stopped so many of these incidents from being reported. Because too many men have taken that it's painful, it's going to cause harm.
No, I mean for the women. I know for the women that are chastised for it.
We've made that by using those words, saying it's painful. Okay? It has to be bravery to turn it in. It can't be painful. You have to be step above. You have to take the high road. Don't let somebody belittle you because you've already been denigrated, okay? Don't keep taking the steps of denigrating these women because somebody's committing a criminal act against them, Charlton. We have to raise the bar of respectability to these women for coming out, making these statements, Charlton. You think about these young gymnasts. Everybody is praising them as heroes, okay? For coming out against Nassar. But Nassar knew what he was doing as well as other men knew what Nassar was doing. The Corollas, you're going to tell me they didn't know what Nassar was doing and they had this gymnastic camps? You're going to tell me the IOC was not aware of what Nassar was doing and they hired this guy kept him on the payroll for 20 years?
They knew.
Just like Michigan State knew about it. And even with Michigan State hiding these incidents, Michigan State had gymnasts that had filed reports against Nassar back as early as 2010, 2011, Charlton. They had filed allegations against Nassar that they just turned a blind eye on. So don't say that to discourage these women. You have to encourage these women. Stand up. You have to, you have to disclose these predators. Because they've hidden so long under white skin privilege. They've hidden under athletic privilege, Charlton. Saying that because we're athletes and we're prominent white men, that we can't be touched because people need us for finances. That's the thing. You think about these prominent white men. People needed them because they made money. You think about these athletes, and they're African-American athletes as well as white athletes, Charlton. Because they made these institutions money. You can't protect these heinous people any longer.
Yeah.
Because they wear a damn jersey and a name on their back. You can't do that.
And I think
they need to have predator across their back. Sexual predator is what they need to have across their back.
I think that's what happens to a lot of men once they go through the process. If they're convicted of that, they do have to register as a sex offender. It's just a shame that so many prominent universities have known about this and it's been happening, and we got to find a way to put a stop to it. Big C,
think about this. You have to register as a sexual predator. So who knows that you're a sexual predator?
Yeah.
The police department, that's it.
Yeah.
So just registering as a sexual predator is not the thing. I mean, it went back to slavery where they branded slaves, okay?
Yeah.
Back to slavery. I mean, in slavery, they branded their slaves, okay? This is what they did. But there's not a registered sexual offender who walks into a grocery store and say, hey, I'm a registered sexual offender. You don't walk into a car dealership and say, hey, I'm a registered sexual offender. You don't walk into a high school game say, I'm a sexual predator. And I prey on young girls. And the reason I'm here is to look at the cheerleaders.
Yeah.
You don't walk in and say that. If the American government wants to and they talk about civil rights and civil liberties.
Yeah.
The thing that Colin Kaepernick stood up for social injustice.
Yeah.
If you want to brand a sexual predator, put it on the back of his hands. I'm a sexual predator, and put his number on there.
Yeah.
So whenever he walks into some place and he has to shake somebody's hand, he has to do an interview, and his hands are there, it's stating what he is. But it's just like the judge in San Jose, in Palo Alto did last year or 2 years ago with the young male out there that raped the young girl.
Yeah.
Saying, well, you can't destroy this young man's life. He has too much promise. Just because he raped somebody doesn't make him a bad person.
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah. You think about that. Well, how much credence did you give him saying, hey, go ahead on out there, just don't get caught next time?
Right. Yeah.
That's what he told that young man. Go on and rape as many young girls as you want. Give them some drinks, let them pass out, rape them. Just don't get caught. That's all they told him.
And when people think that's egregious, look at how Michigan State has hidden this. I mean, that university, Michigan State, has hidden this, and we know we got to put a stop to that. Big C, I do want to touch on a few more things in the world of sports before we close. I know if we go to the land down under, in Australia, we have the great Roger Federer. Looking at this guy's seeking 20 majors now, and he's won 8 Wimbledon titles, and that's the most in the tennis universe. As an older, getting up in age, he's done so much in the world of tennis. Just talk about his stamina and what he's been able to accomplish, and going up to 20 straight, his 20th major. That would be a great accomplishment for someone who plays a game where you are on your own. There's no teammate to help you out. There's no one to block for you or give you the assist. It's all about him and the tennis ball. Big C, your thoughts?
Well, in the world of tennis, Charlton, you have to play both offense and defense. So when they start talking about the greatest male athletes of all time, everybody's talking about Jordan. Everybody's talking about Brady.
Yeah.
Nobody's looking at Roger Federer as far as being the greatest male athlete of all time in the U.S.
Yeah.
Here's a guy who's won 19 major championships, Charlton.
That's incredible.
8 most all time.
Yeah.
They talk about 6 NBA titles, 5 Super Bowl titles. Roger Federer has won 8 Wimbledons, the most competitive tennis tournament in the world. He won 8, more than any other male in history. And you think about his 19 overall championships, Charlton, eclipses by 3 more than any other male in history.
Yeah.
If he wins the Australian Open this weekend, it takes him to 20. 4 tournaments more than anybody else has ever won, Charlton. So when you talk about the GOAT, as everybody wants to use this term nowadays, the greatest of all time, no one's talking about Roger Federer. And he has to dominate. When he's out there and you're taking one of these matches that last 3 hours, Charlton, 5 or 6 sets, and you're playing every other day in tennis, in a tournament. You got 5 rounds, 6 rounds you have to get through.
Yeah.
In a tennis tournament to win a championship. When you think about basketball, you have a series where you have to win 4 out of 7 in basketball to win a championship.
Yeah.
In football, you have to win 1 game to win a championship, okay?
Yeah. And
so in tennis, you have to think about that series that one individual has to go through, playing offense and defense. When you think about Michael Jordan, he's only accounting for maybe 1/20th of the productivity of that team, offensively and defensively, because he's one of 5 guys on the floor at the same time.
Yeah.
So he's only 20% of what's occurring on the floor.
Yep.
Well, when you look at football, Brady's only out there maybe half the time, and he's one of 12. So he's only accounting, for 8% of what's going on offensively because those other guys have to be in tune to what's going on.
Yeah.
In Roger Federer's case, Charlton, he's 100% offensively and defensively of what's occurring. So when you think about the competitive nature, and here's a guy who's 38 years old.
Yeah.
Okay, he's not a teenager. He's been doing this for a long time, and at 38 years old, winning a championship, beating all these young kids year after year, Charlton.
Yeah.
That has to speak volume for us being one of the greatest of all time.
Well, speaking of that, and we know he's earned it, whether he continues to play at this level or not. At some point in time, the pendulum starts to swing down. But when you're going the way he is, I think he has still a lot of tennis left in him. And speaking about the GOAT, and when we look at the NFL and you look at championships and what player has the most championships, as you just mentioned, unlike Federer, it's just you on your own. You against the world, you and the tennis ball. You look at pro football, Otto Graham, I think he's won 7. And then if you look at Bart Starr has 5 as well as Tom Brady 5. And we talk about, Terry Bradshaw had 4 championships, but Otto Graham had 7 championships, but they just didn't have the TV attention that a lot of guys have now, Big C. So whatever's done now, it makes it seem like they're more successful at it just because people are seeing it a lot more, Big C. Your thoughts?
Well, no, it makes it seem like they've never done it before, Charlton.
Yeah.
They've crossed in the rare area, and you speak about Otto Graham, who won 7 pro football titles as a quarterback, Charlton. Long before Brady was ever even
before born. Yeah.
Before he was born. Otto Graham was out there winning consecutive championships.
Yeah.
And so here it is. They want to say, greatest of all time. I can never understand why the young broadcasters now keep omitting the older players.
Yeah. They don't know. They don't know that Google doesn't work.
That's true.
Yeah.
They don't know. Otto Graham, 7 pro football titles as a quarterback. Bart Starr won 5 of them, Charlton.
Yeah.
And, everyone said, well, Brady was a 6th-round draft pick. Bart Starr was a 15th-round draft pick.
Yeah.
15th-round draft pick. Won 5 NFL championships. So when they want to talk about a guy that nobody thought about as far as having a chance for success, you don't have to look any further than Bart Starr, Charlton, with his 5 titles and being a 15th-round draft pick out of the University of Alabama.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
He's not even the most celebrated quarterback out of Alabama. Joe Namath is.
Yeah.
And Joe Namath never got to the claim as a professional that Bart Starr did. Kenny
Stabler
even was more successful as a pro quarterback than Joe Namath.
Yeah.
Joe Namath is the only quarterback that people think about out of the University of Alabama of having any success in the NFL. And yet there's 2 of his predecessors, Jonathan, that had more great success in the NFL, leading with Bart Starr with his 5 titles and Kenny Stabler, who was inducted into the Hall of Fame last year.
Yeah.
But, when you sit down, as you say, the young boys don't know how to use Google. All the young ladies, they can only say, well, this is the greatest.
Right.
And they keep talking about 6 NBA titles.
Yeah.
Does anybody know how to spell Bill Russell?
Yeah.
That's the only thing. Anybody who knows anything about the NBA, can they spell Bill Russell? That's enough saying. If they spell Bill Russell, let's stop talking about the greatest of all time.
Yeah, it's hard to get to that level and say that anyone's the greatest when you're excluding some of the best players in the history of the universe when it comes to championships. And we know that sometimes people are out of mind, they're out of sight, out of mind. I even look at one of the greatest receivers in the history of the football universe, and the great Jerry Rice. He's 55 years old, and I know he's talking about making a comeback. But all you got to do is look at his last few games when they cut him and realize there's nothing left in the legs, Big C. I know maybe because Vince McMahon wants to bring back some type of football league where he says he wants players to be dumb and no social anything, just come and be dumb and play football, Big C. I think he's trying to make that league all white because he's telling every black athlete, don't bring your concerns in this platform because this is just about you playing football. That make any sense, Big C?
Well, I go back to Jerry Rice when you say Jerry Rice now is a spokesperson for CTE. When you think about it, you're 55 years old and you think you could compete in the NFL and you couldn't compete in the NFL when you were 40?
Yeah.
But now all of a sudden, 15 years later, after being inactive, all of a sudden you're having these flashbacks?
Yeah.
Because that's all it is. He's having flashbacks.
Yeah. We always...
waking up in the sweats in the middle of the night. I mean, I've had those moments. I've woken up out of dreams, something I thought I was playing.
Yeah.
That's the plan. It's like, dang, I think I can still play.
Well, that's the moonshine. That's the moonshine, Big C. It has nothing to do with stretching and being limber. That's the moonshine you good old boys drink down south. I think one thing in defense of Jerry Rice. Jerry Rice saw that the Davis family, Mark Davis gave Gruden $10 million for going to 57 and 55, something that you can Google also. And he said, well, damn, he doesn't understand the value of performance. So he's going to come back and say, if Gruden can get $10 million for going 57, 55, I'm sure Jerry Rice can get at least $1 million. Big C, your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, he would get more than that in the veteran minimum.
Yeah.
The years that he played in the league. So,
yeah.
He walked back in and get $3 million. So, he's thinking about that. $3 million's hard to turn down. His pension is not that high.
Yeah.
But, to think that you can go out there, he said, well, they can't be as physical a defensive back as they were when I was playing. But, yeah, they still hit you. You got to understand.
Oh, yeah.
None of these guys know who you are, Jerry.
No, they don't know.
They don't know who you are. And they just take you out. All of a sudden, that's a feather in their crawl.
Yeah.
You got to look at it from that perspective. When you're an old man, it's nice to dream and have fantasies. We all do that.
Yeah.
But that's what they are. They're fantasies.
Yeah.
We think about how, physical we were at one time, how good looking we were at one time.
What do you mean were? We still are. I'm still on, Big C. I can speak for myself. They have that new face cream you can put on out here in California, tightening your skin, Big C.
I can pull out a picture any day of the week and tell you
Yeah. I heard of a friend of mine, she runs this website where people can date, and she says one of the biggest complaints is that men would post a picture with like 30 years younger than what the guy looks like now and about 50 pounds lighter, Big C. So I understand what you're going through with that. I do want to bring up one thing before we close out. I want to just bring back to the West Coast. We talk about golf and how great the game of golf is when you have guys that are relevant. Guys like Tiger Woods, guys like Phil Mickelson. And Tiger made the cut today down at Torrey Pines. And Mickelson also made the cut. I think Mickelson is right around 14th in there somewhere. And these two great athletes and what they bring to the tournaments. You look at Mickelson. He's won 14. Actually, he's in the top 14 today. He's won 3 majors. 3 Masters, actually. 5 majors. He's won 42 events. I look at Tiger Woods. He's won 79 events, PGA events. 79. Whether the guy finishes in the top 15 or top 20 this week at all, he came off surgery, and here's a guy that has 79 PGA championships, 18 majors, Big C, and he finished -1 right now. He's -1 total for the first 2 days. Just give me your thoughts on what that means to see Tiger and also Phil even in the conversation for a golf tournament over the weekend, Big C. Your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, that brings viewer excitement to have these two old names back on the course, Charlton, on the weekend.
Yeah.
Being competitive against each other. Maybe not against the field, but against each other.
Yeah.
That's going to be the major draw this weekend is where is Tiger and Phil finished in relation to each other.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that Tiger's going to have to do now that he's come back on the tour, Charlton, is maybe double up in the amount of events that he plays in. Before Tiger could be very selective, and the PGA knew what to build up for Tiger. But Tiger's going to have to go out and participate in some 20 events this year. He's not no longer going to be able to go out and compete in just 10 or 12 events. He's going to have to up it to at least 20 events, Charlton, because when you're being competitive, you get a different level of adrenaline than what you do when you're out there in practice.
Yeah.
When you're going out playing a practice round with a couple of friends and there's no pressure on you to make a cut, you make a bad shot, you make a bad shot.
Yeah.
He needs to have some competitive golf rounds in him, not just practice rounds where he goes out and shoots great. Then all of a sudden he comes in on a competitive day, Charlton, and he's hitting the ball all over the place. He's spraying that driver.
Yeah.
So he needs to get more tournament play in this year. He needs to double up the amount of tournament participation leading up to the Masters and even after that, Charlton, if he wants to be competitive from this point on the PGA Tour.
Yeah, and when it comes down to staying healthy, I think that's a major thing for Tiger. And even for Phil, even though Phil hasn't had the same kind of injury with his back, etc., but I know it's great for the role of television. It's great for radio. I do want to give Palmer a little shout out. He's 11 under in first place right now, but no one cares. And it would be, I think, for theater purposes. And I know TV can do what they want, and so can the golf gods. If they found a way, just for TV purposes, at least on a Saturday, if they had a chance to have Mickelson and Woods in the same pairing, if they had that opportunity, no matter what rank they're in the tournament, if they could put Tiger next to Phil and have those two being the storyline going into at least Saturday, Big C, irrespective of Sunday, I think they would have some of the higher ratings in TV outside of the Masters, Big C. Your thoughts on that happening?
Well, we're talking that's a great matchup. They've only been paired together a couple of times in their career. But that's something that golf needs to look at. We talk about that in regionalizing bowl games in college football, Charlton.
Yeah.
Is that if you put the pairs together that people want to see.
They want to see.
You're going to get a greater draw versus having them playing 3 and 4 holes apart.
Yep.
Is that you have them walking the same fairways. That you talk about gallery participation. That wave is going to follow Tiger and Phil throughout the tournament.
Yeah.
I don't know where they'll go once they finish up their 18.
Yeah.
But during that 18 at Tiger and Phil, you're talking about having galleries of a couple thousand spectators following these two great golfers around the golf course, Charlton.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. So I hope the golf gods can see that, because this is the best opportunity in the golf universe to just make it be relevant before we get to the Masters. No matter what happens on Sunday, find a way to do whatever they got to do to have these two guys, these great icons of golf, walk out there together, at least be on the same holes. You know, that's, to me, is what can make golf great, or you can lose it, because you're not going to have a guy like Palmer who's in first place. People don't turn in to see him, and if he can win it, that's great. More power to him. We have a purse of almost $7 million. But for Woods and Mickelson, to me, it makes me want to pay attention to golf. Big C, back in the day, there was a man by the name of Drew Bundini Brown. He was known as Muhammad Ali's right-hand man. He would always tell Ali, with all you got to use, how can you lose? Rumble, young men, rumble. Big C, what are you looking forward to in the sports universe?
Well, Charlton, we got Boston and Golden State tonight playing on the West Coast, and it's going to be a very interesting battle. The top team in the East, top team in the West. How will the officials react tonight in this game, Charlton? Will the officials be predicating what the outcome of this game will be, or will they just let the players play?
Well, hopefully they'll let the players play. A lot of games coming up. We also have Houston playing the Pelicans, and we have so much to be grateful for in the land of the free and the home of the brave. You can follow it every Monday through Friday at 5 and 6 p.m. worldwide when you follow Big C Sports on the Big C Sports Network, on the #1 network in the United States of America. And Big C Sports has been voted the #1 sports show in the universe, according to Big C and them good old boys down south. As we always want to tell you, there's never, ever any excuse for domestic violence. If you know any woman going through that garbage, please call 911, because no woman should ever have to go through that garbage on her own. And as we always tell you on every Big C Sports show, we thank you, we appreciate you, and we hope that you have a super fantastic day.